Welcome back to the session on purchase consideration, another important session where we should learn at least one practical example of whatever we discussed in the purchase consideration theory video. A video just before this video, I posted about what is purchase consideration, what is included, what is not included, what are the methods, how to identify the method, and once we identify the method, how to solve the question using that method. These things we discussed, and now we should see how practically we can compute purchase consideration in the question. Now, this is the question where S limited absorbed by P limited. I can expand the question here. S limited absorbed by P limited. It means what? P is the transferee and S is the transferor. See here, P transferee and S transferor. So P acquired S. Now with the data given is S limited gives the following information on the date of absorption. See, absorption, I said, as per the standard, amalgamation includes absorption. So we need to understand amalgamation, absorption are not different topics, both are one and the same. Now, here the question is given in such a manner that assets were given, capital was given, equity and preference, reserves were given, debentures were given, and trade payables were given. So data is given in the question. Now, what exactly the scheme talks? The scheme talks about P limited, it means transferee, agreed to issue 9% preference shares of 100 each. Here price is clear. Preference share, price 100 each in the ratio of 3 shares of P for every 4 shares in S. So 3 shares in P for every 4 shares in S limited. It means quantity also clear. So I'll do it here. Number 1, preference shares. S preference shares. How many S preference shares? 2000 preference shares. 2000. Now, exchange ratio three for 4. So, new preference shares in P, 2 preference shareholders of S is 2000 by 4 into 3, 1500. So, P limited agreed to give to the preference shareholders of S limited 1500 preference shares in P in exchange for 2000 preference shares in S. It means total consideration of preference shares is 1500 into 100, 1,50,000. This is one part of consideration. It talks to issue 9% preference shares of 100 each in the ratio of 3 for every 4 in S. So, total preference shares in S 2000, ratio 3:4, new shares to be issued in P to the shareholders of S is 2000 by 4 into 3, 1500, and the price is 100. So it says preference shareholders of S Limited will get 1,50,000 worth of preference shares of P Limited. This is one part of consideration. Now, the other point, it says to issue debenture holders of S. The minute we hear debenture holders of S, it is not a purchase consideration. Why? Because we know any form of consideration paid or payable to the shareholders, not to the debenture holders. So this point we straight away reject in computation of purchase consideration. I don't need this point. Got it? Definition says any form of consideration paid to shareholders of transferor, shareholders of S. So this is for debenture holders. I'm ignoring this point as of now because this question is only to compute purchase consideration. Now the next point is to pay 20 per cash. To pay 20 per share in cash and issue 6 equity shares of 100 each at the market price of 125 in lieu of every 5 shares in S. Now be clear. Here, preference shares is done. Number 2, equity shareholders of S Limited. How they got? Number of shares, existing number of equity shares are 5,000. So I'll come here, 5,000. Exchange ratio 6:5. Read it carefully. Issue 6 equity shares of 100 each at 125 in lieu of every 5 shares in S Limited. So the exchange ratio is 6:5. So new shares in P Limited, how many we should issue? 5,000 by 5 into 6 as 6,000 equity shares, and the price is 125. Though the book value is, though the face value is 100, but issued at 125. Now the quantity we know and the price we know, it means the total price paid to equity in the form of equity shares is 6,000 into 125, 7,50,000. So in the form of preference shares, I am giving 1,50,000. In the form of equity shares, I am giving 7,50,000. And also to equity shareholders, cash paid to equity shareholders as 20 per share. So existing shares, existing equity shares 5,000, cash per share 20, so total cash 1 lakh. So for equity shareholders, you are not only paying equity shares, also the cash of 1 lakh. Reading the question, we can identify shares were given price is given, shares were given, price is given for equity, and cash also given clearly. So this is net payments method. How do I present this as a consolidated answer is important. Here, purchase consideration. Number one, to preference shareholders, 1500 preference shares into 100, 1,50,000. Then two, to equity shareholders, 6,000 equity shares into 125 per share, which is 7,50,000. And cash 6,000 into 125, 750 and 150, and cash 5,000 equity shares, existing shares, into 20 rupees per share is 1 lakh. So this cash is to equity. So I don't write it as 3. I write it as 2A and 2B. 1 lakh. And total consideration is 750 plus 150, 9 lakhs plus 1, 10 lakhs. This is total purchase consideration. Now, why and how I identified it as net payments method? Because here number of equity shares, that is existing shares by 5 into 6. So every 5 shares, 6 shares, and the price at 125, and number of preference shares, existing shares by 4 into 3. It is 3 for every 4 existing shares. That is 1500, and the price is given, and cash to equity existing shares into 20. So this is 1 lakh is given. So this is clear, this is clear, this is clear. All the types of payments were clear. No need to identify anything which is missing. That means it is net payments method. So the question here is specifically told that give 1500 equity shares in P to S Limited preference, 1500 preference shares in P to S Limited preference shareholders, and give 6,000 equity shares in P to S Limited equity shareholders, and give 1 lakh cash to equity shareholders. So everything is clearly mentioned. So we just need to aggregate the total value to identify purchase consideration. This is the simple question on purchase consideration using net payments method. Hope it is clear. The final answer is this. Now, we also need to mention here that payment to debenture holders as specified in the question is not considered for computation of purchase consideration as purchase consideration is the consideration paid or payable to the shareholders of the transferor company. So, because it is paid to debenture holders, it is not included in the computation of purchase consideration. Hope this sum is clearly understood. How to read the question, how to identify the method, and how to present the answer, and also how to give the exception in the form of notes is discussed today. Hope it is very clear for you guys. Let us meet with another solution using net assets method. Thank you.